Yeah, Ethan told Pastor Steve about this Buddhist monk tradition in which they go out into the elements with no protection, preferably really bad weather, as Ethan said. And Ethan told Pastor Steve about this. And Steve's really competitive.
Steve's been kind of all over the place with his sermons lately. A couple weeks ago, he decided to do a 4-week sermon on the sanctity of marriage. He lost interest in it, and after 2 weeks, he decided to do a week of the book of Revelation.
I'm sorry to come here. But you don't know
He got sick of that as well, so now he doesn't even have a sermon for this week. He preaches at 9 o'clock, and well, it's 8:15. Hopefully he has an idea now. He's in his office.
I don't wanna work. I just wanna bang on my mug all day.
Did you ask me in here for any specific reason? Or?
Yeah, Seth, I did actually. I wanted to know if you had any spare sermons lying around.
Any spare sermons? What?
No, not spare sermons. What are you talking about? No, like any good books, any good Christian books, any good Christian sermon books. Maybe the Wesleyan orientation.
Is this about you not having anything to preach in half an hour?
That's ridiculous. Does anybody else know?
Everybody knows. We're all wondering what you're gonna do. I mean,
Listen, stop checking your watch. That's ridiculous, and it's not gonna help. I mean, we've got a half hour.
No, you've got a half hour, not we.
Seth, I don't just have a half hour. The worship team has to do all of their stuff. I mean, I don't have to go until they're done playing. In fact, wow, I've got a great idea. Actually, you know what? Why don't you get back to work and send David in? I'm safe.
Okay. Dave, Pastor Steve wants to see you. Pastor Steve needs my help.
I hear they might, like, if you give them cookies or something. Anyway, if they don't go along with it, we're gonna have to...
Are you guys working on the sermon? You're not working on some scheme, are you?
Nicole, do not interfere. This is important business.
This is not important business unless it's making up the church message.
But we...
David, back to your desk.
Nicole, I am assistant fellowship pastor.
You're assistant to the fellowship pastor, and that's meaningless anyway. Steve, have you prepared your message yet?
No.
Yes. We're going to have to get everyone here in the office so we can come up with something good within the next 20 minutes.
Fine.
Hey, newbie. I got a little mission for you. Think you can handle it? Yeah, I think I can. Do you think? Or do you know? I think. Alright, fine. Follow these instructions. So yeah, David comes up to me with this little scheme that I guess him and Pastor Steve came up with. I am to go to the worship band and give them a list of about 5 additional worship songs for them to do to extend their program. And if they don't go along with that, I am to gain access to their computer and extend their program behind their backs. So this is what goes on behind the scenes with the church staffs. I'm still dealing with the surprise.
Alright, guys. We don't have a lot of time.
10 minutes, Steve.
Thank you, Kayla. What I need is for you guys to give me ideas. Good ideas. I want to have an idea from each one of you. David, why don't you run to the library and get a book of ideas?
On it, Stephen.
All right. Let's go around the table. Eric.
Jesus.
Kayla.
How about the dangers of procrastination with your faith?
Not funny, Kayla. Next.
What's wrong with my idea?
Well, maybe if our church was all girls, that idea might work out, but...
Can someone explain this to me?
Oh, David, that's a great book. I think one of the Liggets actually donated that to the library.
The Liggets, not the Liggets.
Oh, knock it off, David. I mean, it's a wonderful story. Sure, it's against the Bible and everything, but... I mean, we have stronger faith than that, I would hope. And once I picked the book up, I didn't want to put it down.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the suspense, the characters.
Oh,
yeah.
I never... Well,
Have you
that's
guys
all right.
read it? I mean, the
I just watched the movie.
Absolutely
Because
stunning.
Great
Back
plot.
and forth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Dan Brown is just phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough.
Get out.
His writing.
What?
What?
Huh?
Steven, are you gonna really let this element float about the church? I mean, well, Eric and Lindsay, I mean, they're singular people, we can remove them no problem. But the Liggets? I mean, we're gonna have to go to the board for a situation like this.
David, no one's getting thrown out of the church. David, why don't you just have a seat? David, are you not going to sit? David, why don't you go out and make the coffee?
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's right. You're not helping this group out. You're not contributing. All you're doing is being a big bother. Why don't you go out there, break out the Folgers, and make some coffee?
Steve, I mean, the book...
Listen,
it's
I'm not gonna...
should not be
no,
in this
no.
church.
I'm not gonna...
Wait, guys, you
Listen,
have shoot.
listen,
Message.
listen.
We need to work
I
on
don't-
the week.
Why-
Serve it.
Steve, it's time. What are you gonna do? No, I didn't end up adding any new songs, actually. They didn't really go for that idea. Plus, it'd probably be too obvious and it would mess everything up anyway. So I just got onto their computer, took the last slide from each of the songs they're already doing, and, you know, like the repeating chorus at the end, just repeated it over and over again. And over and over. So yeah, it added like 15 extra minutes onto the program. It's kind of funny, no one really noticed either. So I guess that worked out.
So it all worked out in the end, and Seth was able to give me a few extra minutes that I needed in order to get my sermon written, so... But it worked out well. I mean, I talked on a range of topics. I focused on Jesus, but I hit on sacrifice, humility, even touched on death, which was different. But, you know, it's interesting to think that if you accept Jesus and you die, then you get to meet him. You know, I just ask myself, what will you do? Will you stand in his presence? Or to your knees will you fall? I mean, will you sing hallelujah? Will you be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine.